Three Gifts by Reggie LaBerge. Bradley woke with a groggy grin, filled with dreams from deep within. Kimberly rose in quiet thought on last night's bedtime story plot. Laura leapt up from her bed, her limbs in rhythm with the beat in her head. Today, their new life was to start away from the city where they did part. Fear and eagerness swelled inside, not yet knowing what they might find. They had left their friends, these sisters and brother, but they had themselves, and they had each other. And they each had a gift that, when shared with the world, would surely surround them with joyed boys and girls. Their day was to start with a bus trip and then, after schoolwork and recess, come home once again. On the ride to school, someone else was new. A golden-haired boy looked quite timid, too. The little boy tripped when he stepped off the bus, and kids have a way of making a fuss. So what most people saw when they watched his books fly was the golden-haired boy who wanted to cry. Bradley helped the blond boy up onto his shoes. He said, "It could have been worse. What if you flew?" For Bradley, who picked up the over-high stack, saw a young child who needed to laugh. Curiously, the boy stared, and Bradley just smiled. But after not even the shortest of whiles, Bradley laughed. He laughed with a laugh that rang like great bells. He laughed with a laugh that sang like great whales. He laughed with his voice. He laughed with his eyes. He laughed with his shoulders. He laughed with his sides. Bradley laughed. And the blond boy forgot to cry. Then the boy laughed too. He didn't know why. In class, an assignment was up on the board. Write in your journals about what is in store. How could they possibly know what could be in a classroom of strangers in room 203? Their writing utensils they left put away, for fear they'd be wrong on the very first day. But Kimberly opened her lined spiral book, and pencil to paper, she started to look. She saw in front of her new future friends. Knowing how possibility never ends, Kimberly wrote. She wrote with a verse that was gentle and flowing. She wrote with a heart that never stopped going. She wrote with her senses. She wrote with her view. She wrote what she imagined. She wrote what she knew. Kimberly wrote, and her classmates forgot not to try. Then her classmates wrote too. They didn't know why. At recess, out on the playground that day, the students were filled with great dismay. Instead of the swing sets and ball fields and bars, there was a field with a crane and construction cars. The toys they'd awaited were not yet done. They couldn't imagine how they would have fun. But Laura just listened to the working crews, and her toe started tapping to the camouflaged muse. The motors, they groaned with a drumbeat sound, since there were squeaks, sweeps, and horns as they worked on the ground. Laura danced. She danced with a dance that was soulful and strong. She danced with a dance that was graceful and long. She danced with her arms. She danced with her feet. She danced to the melody. She danced to the beat. Laura danced, and the students forgot to sigh. Then the students danced too. They didn't know why. As the first school day drew to a close, they boarded their buses, headed for home. Their minds were all weary, their feet were all tired, and almost the whole return trip remained quiet. But Bradley laughed. He laughed with a laugh that rang like great bells, and his laughter was calling to Laura's heels. So Laura danced. She danced with a dance that was soulful and strong, and her movements were words to Kimberly's song. And Kimberly wrote. She wrote with a verse that was gentle and flowing, and the siblings' three gifts got everyone going. They laughed with the laughter of great ringing bells. They danced down the aisle with a story to tell. They wrote it with ease, the tale of their day, the tale of their laughter, their dance, and their say. The children lived.
Three Gifts is part of the larger work The Kids I Know by Reggie LaBerge. Copyright 2009 by Reggie LaBerge. All rights reserved. No part of this audiobook may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including transcribing, duplicating, photocopying, recording, or by any information storage and retrieval system without permission in writing from the copyright owner. This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents either are the product of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously, and any resemblance to any actual persons, living or dead, events, or locales is entirely coincidental. This audiobook was produced in the United States of America by Whole Note Studios.